Whoa, it's me again. It's been a while since I was on camera on this channel. So some stuff has happened in my life finally, and I decided to make a new trans vlog thingy, which I haven't done in a long time. I was going to do these kind of on a regular basis originally, but then my transition kind of hit a bunch of bumps in the road in terms of medical things. But I'm happy to announce that as of today, well, yesterday in Swedish time, but as of September 30th, I am officially on HRT. I am now on hormone replacement therapy, and I have taken my first my first dosage ever, and I couldn't be happier about it. Um, and actually, starting next month, or this month, October, I'll be going to a speech therapist. So that'll be really cool as well. I'll be going. I have 3 appointments in October, and yeah, I'm really excited about it. It's finally. I feel like finally after three years and 7 months of waiting, things are finally taking shape. It feels really good, and it shouldn't have taken this long, but it did. And yeah, I want to talk a bit about how fucked up the Swedish um, trans healthcare system is, because people really only hear the good stuff about it, and there are good things about it, and I'll get to that as well. Actually, we'll start with that. So, people really like to talk about how good Swedish trans healthcare is, and it's mainly because of one thing, and that is that we get basically the state or tax money pays for our uh, genital reassignment surgery should we choose to geniconstructive surgery is the term should we choose to have it, and that's great. That is great. That is like government funded. That is yes, part of standard healthcare. Like if you have finished your transition to the point where they've cleared you for having that, you will have it. Um, Even after that, there are some other things you will get for free as well, or not free, but on tax money, such as like if you're a trans woman, for example, and you feel that your breasts aren't as big as they should be, you can actually get a free enhancement on that, and like there's some really good stuff there. The problem is most of us don't get there. I forget the actual stats as of now, but when I started my transition, only about 10 people finished their medical and legal transition in Sweden each year, and there are far more than 10 trans people in Sweden. So it's not really a very good thing, because we have some really awful gatekeeping that can just put you on a permanent wait list, pretty much. And that's what happened to me. Was at first I was put on a wait list because they didn't think that my depression and anxiety was a symptom of was a further symptom of my dysphoria, and that they thought my depression caused me thinking I was trans, pretty much, and said, well, no, we're gonna fix your depression and then we'll see if you're actually trans. Of course, my depression wasn't fixed. I'm on meds for it, but you know. But eventually, they agreed that, oh yeah, maybe you're depressed because you're forced to uh, live as someone who is pretty much viewed as a man when you're not. That would make sense. So they finally agreed on moving on from that part. But then the thing is, like, there are so many few trans clinics in Sweden. Many few. I said many few. There are so few trans clinics in Sweden. I think there's three that I know of. So like, if I want to go to like any sort of thing, like talk with anyone involving in trans healthcare, I have to go on a 3 hour train ride or a 3.5 hour bus ride, um, and then of course get back and all that stuff. And that can be tricky, especially when you're someone who suffers from social anxiety and other problems like that. So I didn't. There were times where I had a appointment and I could not make it because like I was either just too restricted in my like anxiety that day, and I couldn't like get out of bed or something like that. And rather than understanding why that was happening, they took that as me not wanting to transition anymore and just took me off the list for a while. Until I finally like got a hold of them and was like, why haven't I been called back for a new appointment? Like, and they were like, oh, we just thought you didn't want to transition anymore because you didn't come to a meeting. I'm like, well, I called and said why I didn't come, so that makes no sense. Then of course it's the HRT thing, which when I first started transitioning, they said HRT would take about a year, and then I would start on it. And then they said about 6 months, which was like, oh wow, that's fast. I didn't think it would happen, but they said 6 months. And of course, it didn't happen after 6 months. It didn't happen after a year. So I started asking, like, oh, so when am I starting HRT? Oh well, it's it's a step that's coming soon, and it was a step that was coming soon forever, pretty much, until this summer when suddenly like, oh yeah, you should probably like be on HRT, and I'm like, yeah, I should. Like, oh well, then you need to go and do these things, and I got really confused, and once again, I got these papers and these tests I need to take, but like there were some misinformation between me and the doctor, so I didn't really know how to take them. And when I finally figured out how to take them, it was too late, so I missed another appointment. And once again, they thought that I wasn't interested anymore. They took me off the list again, so I had to reapply to the list, and it was a mess. And it was this was just like to get on the first step, so to say. Like, I don't even know how long it'll take me to get the surgery, for example. I don't know how long it will take me to get a legal change on like my passport and stuff. I have no idea. Like a friend of mine, who I won't out, of course, but a friend of mine who also went through this procedure in Sweden. For her, it took eight years in total. But then again, for someone else, it took 3 years total, including surgery, including legal change. So it's like, I don't even know what to believe anymore. And yeah, but at least I'm finally on HRT right now. Not the full dosage, because they didn't have everything at the pharmacy. So I'm gonna have to and they put an order in. I'm gonna have to go get it next week. But I'm on half of what I'm supposed to be on, because I was supposed to take like an extra thing alongside. I don't know how it works. It's they give me medicine. I'll take it. I won't complain. But yeah, so that's where my life is at right now in terms of transitioning. Um, I that was oh yeah, that's another thing. Like we do get surgery and stuff like that uh, through our healthcare, but make no mistake, we have to pay for stuff like HRT and all that stuff, because I could not afford my hormone treatment, and thankfully a friend of the family was very kind to um, lend me money to buy it, so I could start on it immediately, because otherwise I might not have been able to start on it until worst case scenario until November, and that would have been bad. But yeah, that got itself sorted out at least. But yeah, being trans isn't fun, but once in a while you feel happy about making progression in it, and right now I'm actually pretty damn happy, because even though obviously there's been no change yet, I've been on HRT for a couple of hours, but still, just taking that first dose, which is like just raised my spirits somewhat, and I'm feeling quite a bit better as a result. Yeah, life isn't all that sucky right now, and I think that's all I have to say. Thank you for watching, and I don't know, this was just an impromptu vlog I decided to make at 4 a.m. in the night because I'm awake and there's nothing else happening. See ya.